Hello, and welcome. This is Lynn Hamilton, your lead instructor here at Samson Property, to bring you another spine-chilling and exciting episode of Jumpstart Session 4. We're going to be talking in this session today about the marketing department of your business. So hopefully, if you are watching online, you've already downloaded your handout. If you're here live with me, you've got it in your hand. So let's go ahead and jump headfirst right on in. Obviously, as always, we want to thank our Cardinal Title for sponsoring and making sure that Samson is able to run with all four tires on the ground and all the bells and whistles that our agents need. So, and this is my little guy that comes and hangs out at my house. Yeah, if that bird feeder's empty, I get through the window. So I always try to make sure that it is kept open. Yes, there is a new handout in the back, okay? All right, so we're going to talk about, as you're going through your handouts, again, just a quick reminder, I will have places where there's the little puzzle piece that are your to-do tasks. So as you're going through this, listen, stop, and do the task. If you're a seasoned agent and you think, okay, I've already done that, listen, stop, and then ask yourself the couple of key questions. Have I done this? How well have I done this? Can I do it any better? Can I make it any better? And if you're able to give yourself a 5 out of 5, then move on to the next task. If not, take a pause, refresh whatever it is that needs to be refreshed, and be ready to go again. So Jumpstart, as you know by now, because you hopefully have done this in order, has laid the foundation for the business. We've built up the side. We've built up the third side in your database, and now we're going to complete it so we can put a roof on your business by having the marketing department of your business built out. So a reminder of the class rules: phones off or silent, because you know I'll want to answer it. Be open to some new ideas. May I have your permission still to be blunt and honest? Tell you what you need to know and not always what you want to hear. Give me a thumbs up. All right, I'm getting thumbs up. All right. Hear my heart, forgive my mouth. You do have to laugh at my stupid jokes. That was supposed to be one of them. I want you to learn something new. I want you to have your aha moments. But more important, I want you to implement what you have learned. Because if not, it's just information that's going in one ear and out the other. So that is how to best build and grow your business. We always like to start with a basic word of wisdom, and there is simply no shortcut on the road to your real estate success. You must do the work. I know, that sucks, but you know, it is what it is. The only time that success comes before work is in the dictionary. I looked it up. But on your road to success, there's also no speed limit either. You get to control how fast and how far you want to go. It is totally and completely up to you. Here at Samson, we are proud of the fact that we have given you the tools that you need. We have mapped them out in order, and we've given you everything you need on a silver platter. And so again, there's no excuse. So, all right, the other words of wisdom is success is only before work in the dictionary. So I'm going to ask you the question. We talked about this at the last session as well. What would happen to your business if you took 18 minutes a day to work on developing a skill? What would your business look like in a month, in 6 months, in a year? You won't hardly even recognize it. And a reminder, what you learn today is going to help you earn tomorrow. Do you know the difference between working on your business and working in your business? The handout in page 2 has got the cute little hats on there, so let's take and talk about that for just a minute. There are 4 hats that you need to wear within your business. The first one falls under the category of working on your business. That is when the marketing department and the advertising department of your business is up and working. Is determining and working on your 4, 2, 3, or 4 marketing pillars, systems. We're going to talk about that coming up next. That is when you work on making sure that your mailers are done, notes are done, newsletters are done, postcards are done, personal notes, birthday cards, whatever it is you're needing to kind of market, that needs to be going into that component. And then getting the message of the value that you bring out. Again, unless you're undercover, unless you're witness protection program, you are going to need to make sure that you've got everything up and going. All right, so let's change hats. The next hat that you need to wear in your business is that of managing it. As the manager, the good news is you're your own boss. The bad news, you're your own boss. Many of you left corporate America because you thought you had an idiot for a boss. Some of you still do. I'm just saying. I'm going to move on real quick on this one. But managing your business falls into this category as well. You need to manage your schedule. No one's going to do it for you. You're your own boss. You need to manage your office space, your finances, your website, your Facebook posts, all of that. You need to manage it. Buyers and seller notebooks. You should have those at the ready, which is why in our learning trails, Jumpstart is 1 through 4. 5 is contract trends and market stats, how to take those and analyze, pick 1 or 2 talking points out of them. 6 in your learning trails is the what to say, best one-liners and conversation starters. And then immediately we go into the buyer and the seller consultation. Those are your next 2 major steps. You should have them at the ready before someone calls. So I'm going to throw a little comment out here. Because remember, y'all gave me permission to be blunt and honest. Poor planning on your part should not and does not constitute an emergency on ours. Occasionally, we'll have a agent reach out that needs help because they've got a listing appointment in 30 minutes. And they don't know how to do a CMA, they don't know how to do a consultation, and they want to wing it. And we're looking at them going, you couldn't have prepared before? So, poor planning on your part does not and should not constitute an emergency on ours. I'm just saying. But we will do everything in our power to bend over backwards to help. But don't get mad at us if we are heading out the door for a meeting, a funeral, or any other event that's in our life as well, and not available to stop because you dropped the ball. I'm just saying. Not that you would ever do any of that. Just saying. Okay. All right. You need to learn something new every day that you're working. Again, that's part of managing your business. Whether it's what the MLS can do, whether it's SkySlope, whether it's Real Scout, whether it's Bold Trails, any of the other technology tools that we have. Your mission should be, what can I learn today? Because what you learn today is going to help you earn tomorrow. So there you go. In the managing of your business, especially for a newer agent, you need to read, review, and learn your contracts and disclosures inside out and backwards. Now here's where the fun comes in. When you read them, remind yourself that every paragraph is there because somebody sued somebody, which is why that paragraph had to go in there. And you can have a really good time giggling, making up stories of who sued who over what and why that became necessary to be put into the contract. But here's the takeaway, especially as a new agent. Get in, get them printed out. I just put mine in a 3-ring binder, all the buyer side, a tab, all the seller side stuff. You sit down with Post-it notes and a highlighter, and you read each paragraph. Read at least 1 paragraph or 1 page a day. You ask yourself, if a buyer were to ask me what that paragraph means, what would I tell them? If a seller were to ask me what that paragraph meant, what would I tell them? And if you are drawing a complete blank and don't know, that's when you highlight it, tab it with the Post-it note, and then message your mentor if you're new or your broker and say, Lynn had me doing my homework. I was reading the contracts. I got stumped on this one. If a buyer or seller were to ask me what that meant and how does that apply, what would I tell them? What would I say? That's how you do it. Because when you're brand new and you're looking at the 14, 15, 16 pages or whatever it is of contracts, the word contract scares the bookie out of you. So by breaking it down, you're gonna go, okay, I got this. Now, here's my other rule of thumb. If our Samson, regardless of what state you're in, and the state of confusion does count, if they're offering a contracts class, go. Go. If the board is offering a contracts class, go. If you've gone to 2 already and another one's coming up, go. Because the more you hear, you're going to hear different things every time based off your experience in the business. You will develop your skills 100 times better. And again, oftentimes you're going to find yourself writing a contract late at night or early in the morning or on a weekend, and you need to have at least some comfort to know that you're putting the right information in on those contracts. If you are new, absolutely always have them checked by your mentor or your broker. And if you've got questions, by all means ask. Never leave stuff blank and fill it in completely. All right? So that is the bonus information on dealing with contracts and what to do so they're not as scary. Because I know as a new agent, you see those and you just go, oh my God, what do I do? How do I do this? Okay, break it down, paragraph at a time. Now, I remember way back in time in California when I was teaching the contracts class, we literally took a page at a time. And again, we would take the hour we had blocked away, and we went as far as it would allow us to go based off time. I didn't care. I wasn't punching a time clock. We were going to get through it all at one point. So I remember I passed an agent in the hall, and I said, you come into the contracts class today? And she goes, yeah, what are we covering? I said, we're starting on the buyers offered purchase. And she goes, oh, I'm going to be a listing agent. I won't need that.
Good luck.
Okay, this goes into the can't make this stuff up, people. Okay, and I looked at her and I said, so you're going to list, but you're not going to actually sell the property. You're just going to list it. And she said, no, well, somebody will, come along with a contract. I said, okay, but help me understand this. If another agent writes a contract on your listing, that's the buyer's purchase agreement. You are going to present it to your client. What if the client has a question on that? Are you going to look at them and go, I don't know, I never read it? She paused. I said, I'll see you in class. And I walked away. That or I was going to choke her out, one of the two, I wasn't sure what. But, I thought, can't make this stuff up. So that goes into the can't make this stuff up horror stories of the real estate world. So don't be afraid of the contracts. Know that every paragraph is there because somebody suits somebody. And you just need to be comfortable in knowing how to explain the concept of that paragraph. And when you're reading it, if you don't know, ask ahead of time so at least you're comfortable in being able to address it. And again, go to as many opportunities as you can. I remember when I was a brand new agent, my mentor and broker, Anita, still love her, still in touch with her these days. I remember I called her one time and I asked her something and she goes, okay, on page 3, M2, it says blah, 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 and she rattled it off. And I went, do I have to memorize this whole thing at some point in time? And I said, how do you remember that? She goes, you gotta remember, I wrote it. I went, oh, yeah. She was on the board and was part of the team that would rewrite. So she knew that contract paragraph by paragraph and could rattle it off at any point in time, and I just stood in awe. So, not that I was ever that good, but when you break it down, you got it. Okay, that was just a little fun side note. All right. In managing your business with that cute little hat on, you also need to make sure that you are attending and scheduling your week, the training opportunities that are available for you, and you control your schedule. If not, somebody else is going to control it for you. Now, those are the two components of working on your business. Now, let's talk about working in your business. There is a huge difference. Working in your business, let me see, there we go, sorry about that. Okay, they both go hand in hand, but working in your business is when you have the hat on as the advocate consultant, the PPS, and that, of course, requires you to have a real estate license. You are face-to-face with leads and prospects and clients. You are their advocate. You are building a referral resource network and building out your reputation in the industry as well. All right? The other hat that you then wear is that of the real estate agent. That is when you are sharing contracts and disclosures, previewing properties, showing properties, taking listings, writing contracts, working on the transaction, closing transactions, and the best part is you get to get paid. Now, you cannot do this latter part without the other parts in place. They kind of need to go in order. This is why it's kind of like your to-do list and your schedule, your tasks go hand in hand. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? We talk about that in Jumpstart Session 2. So the same thing. These are the 4 hats that you need to wear within your real estate business. Frankly, this is available as a single-page printout on my how-to. No. It's bonus handouts on my website. Bonus handouts. You'll find the hats. Print it and post it up in your workstation. It's a good reminder of where am I supposed to be spending some of my time and what am I supposed to be doing. Okay? Now, we recently added this in as a bonus. We're going to talk about marketing versus advertising and understanding that the two work hand in hand, but I found most agents really did not understand the difference. So, marketing a property is researching, identifying your target market, doing CMAs, pricing strategies, sales strategies, all that has to do with marketing a property. Advertising a property is all about getting that property in front of a larger audience to see, whether it's on the MLS, photos online, photos in general, social media posts, whatever it is. The bigger audience you can get that property in front of, that is advertising. Now, let's look at marketing yourself. I usually like to ask at this point, how many of you think you're in sales? How many think you're in marketing? How many is afraid to answer my question because you know that I ask trick questions? Well, with that, you're in marketing. Okay, sales is going out to the parking lot or picking a floor, any floor, and finding a human being, hopefully breathing, and convince them that they need to buy or sell. That's sales. Our job in this industry is to market yourself, bringing to the headline the tools, the techniques, the skills, the things that you know that you have that will separate you from the other agents that are out there. That is why when coming up in your learning trails, the next couple of classes, you'll hit the buyer and the seller consultation, and those two are heavily talked about in those 2 training components. What are you doing that is different and unique that's going to separate you from everybody else? Because the last thing someone wants to hear is, oh gosh, I'll do a great job for you. No, I think I'm going to hire an agent who's not going to do a good job. So again, a lot of what is being said out of autopilot is the wrong message and not effective. So, okay, marketing yourself is determining and researching what pillars you want to specialize in. And that is coming up right after that, immediately in 2 minutes. There are 24 marketing pillars, topics that you can market in this business. I'm sorry, you're not doing them all because you're not that good and there's not that many hours in the day. And we're going to explain that coming up here in a second. But then advertising yourself, it's about getting your name, your brand in front of a larger audience. That starts with your database. That starts with building out your service providers. That starts by making sure that your monthly touches is the newsletter. Again, I'm a firm believer in that newsletter. I have made more money off that free newsletter over my years than I'd cry all the way to the bank. Really, I did. No, I didn't. But it's advertising yourself. Unless you're in witness protection, nobody knows you're there. You need to be able to advertise yourself, but not just, I'm a real estate agent. It's what are you able to do that's different and unique from everybody else, okay? That also falls into branding. Is there a color palette. And again, we talk about that, I think, in Jumpstart 1 of, is there a color palette that you want to get branded with? Because everything then you do would have that color on it. So repeat, 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 repeat. They know, they see that color, they know it's you. You see the golden M, the golden arches, you know exactly who that is. So same thing, you're a business, and we need to make sure that you understand and are comfortable with advertising. Fortunately, that is part of my repertoire before I ever came into real estate, so I get to bring you the best of the what works and what doesn't and why. All right? Now, before you came into real estate, did you ever ask yourself, where did you think the business was going to come from? Because it doesn't fall from the sky. If you ever seen that movie and you've seen the house fall from the sky and land on the witch, we all know what happened. Typically, that is not where your business is going to come from. It's not going to fall from the sky. We have to be able to be intentional, and build out and build on it. All right? So, let me ask you a couple of quick questions. I can say that. And oh, look, I'm giving you the answers. No cheating. All right. Does the market change? Yes, always, absolutely. Can we control the change? No, we cannot. However, can we adjust to the change?
Yes.
Absolutely. So, keeping that in mind, let me ask you this question. There are, from what I'm looking around the room, there are 4 legs on the chairs that you're sitting on, correct?
Yes.
Okay. How many of you have a car out in the parking lot? Everybody does? Does it have 4 tires on it? Yeah. Okay, good. Don't tell me you're on an 18-wheeler. I'm just saying, all right? So I'm going to go break a leg off the chair, and I'm going to go out and pop a tire. Which one do you want me to pop and break? Front, back, right, or left? None of them. And don't tell me the spare. That's cheating, okay? So the question then becomes, why is 4 legs on the chair and 4 tires on the car the norm? It provides balance and stability, correct?
Yes. Correct.
There you go. All right. So keeping that in mind, in any market, people will move when the home no longer meets their needs. I don't care what the world is doing. I don't care what the economy is doing. I don't care what interest rates are doing, because they fluctuate just like your blood pressure does. I love it when people say, well, what's their interest rates doing? And I look at them and go, I don't know, what's your blood pressure? And they laugh. I go, well, interest rates fluctuate just like our blood pressure does. So, but when a major life change happens is when, and the need, the house no longer meets their needs, is when someone will buy or sell. I don't care how cute your picture is. I don't care how cute the postcard is. I don't care how phenomenal the newsletter is. I don't care if you use the personal marketing and they get the little mini magazine. That alone is not going to trigger them to buy or to sell the property. Let that sink in for a minute. It's when the home no longer meets their needs. Again, it doesn't matter what the world's doing, what the economy's doing, what's happening. But let's talk about the 5 things that happen in a person's life that will change the need, not the want, but the need for where they live. So the 5 Ds are degree and diploma, diamonds, diapers, divorce, and death. Those are the 5 things that will often trigger the need for a move. So again, if somebody has just graduated or is retiring, or is that potentially going to change the need for where they live? Yeah, because if they live up here and they just got a job in Richmond, they're not going to stay living up here because they're not going to take that drive. They're going to move closer to work. Diamonds, getting married. Does that often change the need where someone's going to be at? You betcha. Diapers. A growing family? Well, absolutely, because when that couple that just bought a 1-bedroom townhouse finds out that they're having quadruplets, that house is no longer going to meet their needs. Divorce. Will a divorce change the need for where someone's going to be living? You bet it does. And death. okay, often will change the need for where someone is going to stay or whether they're going to leave and move into something else. All right, so let me ask you this question. Do these things happen every day?
Yes.
Every week?
Yes.
Every month?
Yes.
Every quarter?
Yes.
Every 6 months?
Yes.
Every year?
Yes.
Year after year?
Yes.
Year after year?
Yes.
Year after year? Year after year? Yes, they absolutely do. This, my friends, is what is called recession-proof marketing. And again, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I learned this as a brand new agent when I paid a lot of money to go to a workshop with Todd Bates, Mastermind Marketing. Now, it broke my heart a couple years ago when I went to look Todd up to see if he was still around to find out that he had passed away. He was way too young. But what he taught me was a game changer in my business way back when. And I now get to honor him by teaching you guys how to do it as well. Okay, remember years ago when the market was up and like if you could fog a mirror, you could get a loan? Remember that time frame? Remember when the market crashed down, came nosediving down? Okay, did anybody experience that nosedive? Anybody in long enough? Okay. Nobody called me and told me the market was crashing and that it was taking a nosedive. Good thing. I had my recession-proof marketing components in place, which was also a good thing because I had a daughter in college. I used to say she was cheaper than bail, and those that knew me and knew her thought that was funnier than all get out, but it was true. Well, I don't know. We got into the master's program, and we had to do some trips and some research stuff, and she had a book that had been out of print for 150 years, and sometimes I debated this, but it was still a good investment. But it was my real estate that was supporting her in college. So even in the time that the market was taking a nosedive, I still had 2 of my 4 tires into these categories. I just kept on going. I'd go to the office and people were going, I just want a transaction. I'm going, what a day off. I got money in the account. I need to spend it. Oh, wait, tuition was coming up. Nah, I'd wait, all right? But this is the point that I learned. Is these are the things that will happen week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out. And if you are smart, you will decide as you're picking out your components that you want to market to, 1 or 2 of these will show you exactly what to do and how to do it. And then you can reap the benefit of having that skill set. And so as the market shifts, no big deal. You just keep going. All right? Boom. So now we're going to get into building out the 4, again, you can call them pillars, you can call them tires, you can call them legs, you can call them posts, whatever you want to call them. It is the 4 components of your marketing department that's going to sustain your business. Now, think about, again, your business. Business 101. I'm going to go back to refer to McDonald's. Do they have just one thing on the menu? No, they do not. They have multiple things on the menu. Any business, think about any business, they do not just have one thing available. And that's often the mistake that a lot of real estate agents make, is they just think they're going to do one and that's it. Or they go, oh, I'm going to try this for a little while. I'm going to try this for a little while. Doesn't work like that. So we're going to talk a deeper dive as we go through. All right, so where to start? There are 5 types of buyers, 6 types of sellers, 13 other specialties that gives you 24 options for marketing. 1, your first pillar, your first tire, your first whatever will always, always, always be your database. I don't care where you're starting, that will always be the fundamental piece. Now, on page 4 of your handout, there are 5 types of buyers. There's a first-time home buyer, which means they're currently renting. There's the move-up buyer. Home no longer meets their needs. They may be starting off in a townhouse or a condo. They now need to move up. Then the 3rd level is a dream or trophy home. Then it comes to downsizing. And then there's investors. All right, let's take a look at the other side of the sellers. There's a move-up seller. There's a move-down seller. There's a seller because there was a death in the family. There was a seller because there was a divorce in the family. There's a seller because of a job, relocation, or retirement. And then there's the flippers or the investors. Now, sometimes in the market when it wasn't as beneficial and profitable to be a flipper, we used to say it wasn't really a good flipping market, and you could take that any way you wanted. So, but those are the 6 types of sellers. Now, let's go on to the other options. For sale by owners. Is that an option? Yes, it is. And if you've never looked in your footprint to see what the for sale by owner count is, I would do it because it may be a shocker. Now, I paid a while back $1,500 to go to a workshop specifically for sale by owners. It was coming at it from a different approach. You are not walking in telling them that you could list the house. That is the last thing that's coming out of your mouth. If working for sale by owners is something that intrigues you, then listen to my component, my series on for sale by owners, a different approach. It's available. And I'm not charging you the $1,500. I'm giving it to you for free. Notice the default and foreclosure. Those two kind of go hand in hand. There are always, unfortunately, going to be defaults and foreclosure properties that need to be sold. Not as many right now as there were in years past, but that is always a component. Short sales. Again, years ago, they were hot and heavy. Not so much today, but the misunderstanding of what a short sale really is, and people thinking, oh, I can get it for a less amount of money in a shorter amount of time, let's just all laugh. Because it's the opposite. Years ago when the short sale market hit, banks would get offers in and sit on them because they didn't know what to do with them. There was nobody assigned to process them, to look at them or anything. And so a property would be on the market for 12 months, 18 months, and they'd be stacking up offers because nobody knew what to do with them. And all of a sudden, they realized they better get somebody in there and develop out a system to process short sales. There you go. Again, option wouldn't be one of my favorites at this time in the market. All right, investors. Investors is an option. And again, my question is, are we talking investors that are buying? Are we talking investors that want to buy, repair, and flip? Because again, 2 different specialties. Is it a flipping market? And again, you can take that any which way you want. But is this a market where that might work? Do you have homeowners that have been a homeowner for several years and never thought about investing into a second property? Overlooked, but that is an option. Absentee owners, that is a specialty niche. Again, they live someplace else, which means the property that they own here is either a rental that is just a one-off, or they may own several properties. So again, if that is something that intrigues you, that you want to go after, yes, wait for it. We've already done a full training component on how to identify what is the correct message to the correct target. Remember, we're not throwing Jell-O on the wall, hoping it sticks. And identifying what is the pain point for an absentee owner. It's one of 2. So that is an option as well. Expired listings. That is another option. Yes, in any market, there is a quantity of expired listings. Now, I'm going to pause for a second because I'm going to give you my 2 cents on this. If you wanted to work expired listings, absolutely. There are some do's and don'ts. There's some little protocol that may be better than another. Frankly, as a courtesy to my fellow Samson agents, personally, again, you can do whatever you want, it's your business, but personally, I would not target another listing that had belonged to a Samson agent. Sometimes it makes you look like an ambulance chaser. And if anything, I would reach out to that agent and say, hey, are you planning on relisting that property? You're still working with that client. Because sometimes they'll tell you, yeah, we had to take it off the market because he fell off a ladder and broke his leg. So it's just off temporarily, but we're going to be putting it back on. Great. Be careful you're not chasing the ambulance and get labeled as that as well. But expired listings, there are some valid reasons. Now, if you get a hold of that agent and they say, oh, that client was a pain in the royal patoot, they wanted to list the property for $500,000 more than it was worth, then do you really want to go down that? Maybe, maybe not. Because if they're not going to listen to the first agent, why do you think they're going to listen to you? So again, it's an option. But here again, when we've done my Listen and Learn Thursday classes on expired listings, I hold nothing back. I'm going to shoot it straight. I'm going to tell you exactly the pros and cons. I'm going to give you what it may need for repeat, what is the message that needs to go, and where the payoff is going to be. All right? Remember, I told you I'd be blunt and honest. And you gave me permission, so you can't take it back. All right. So that's expired listings. So let's talk about geofarming. You hear that a lot. Geofarm, especially in your neighborhood, especially in your footprint. That's great, but guess what? There are 3 components within that geofarm. Remember, because we're not throwing Jell-O on the wall to see what sticks. We're going to identify the 3 components in a geofarm. There are some that are the homeowners. There are some that are absentee owners. There are some that are renters. In the class that we've already done on geofarming, I give you the I'm going to say criteria of how to research a geofarm, run the numbers, and then I tell you if you want to, report to me, and I'll tell you whether it's a high enough turnover that it's worth going after. Now, I always say, well, somebody, so-and-so dominates that area. Maybe, maybe not. Because I remembered way back when I was a brand new agent, there was an area, my neighborhood, that I was wanting to do, and they said, oh, so-and-so dominates that market. He has like all the listings in there. Until Lynn learned a few tricks, and Lynn did a little bit of research, and Lynn found out, no, he did not. Now, he had a good chunk in there, but he didn't dominate it the way everybody thought he did. He was smart enough to use his signs all over the footprint, on every corner, on every vacant lot. So it made it look like he had more in there than he did. His marketing dollar was spent on signs because he knew they were going to get broken by kids. He knew they were going to get knocked down, stolen. Why would anybody want to steal a real estate sign? I don't know, I'm just saying. But it's an option. But again, when you know the numbers, we can decide whether that is worth going for, whether you have the budget and what your budget is for long-term payoff. Here's the problem. Most people need to hear from you 8 to 12 times before they start taking you serious. Most agents will quit or stop after the second or third attempt. Who can do the math? There's a discrepancy there. So agents will stop. People aren't stupid. If you just get a one-off, they know you're searching. Because don't forget, everybody knows at least a dozen people that at some point in time had a real estate license, or they themselves had a real estate license. The joke in California used to be, if you got pulled over by the police, they would ask for your real estate license and your proof of insurance and your registration. Because not everybody had a driver's license, but almost everybody had a real estate license. That was the joke back then, probably still is. But the point being is, you want to identify specific target, identify the specific pain point they have, and go for that. Not throwing Jell-O on the wall and hoping it sticks. And yes, we have full training on that already available for you. All right, open houses. That is an option. So let's say you think, oh, I love doing open houses. All right, that's great. But here again, we're going to make sure you've listened to some advanced training, good, better, best on open houses, and make sure that you have also paid attention to realtor safety, because sadly, many agents have gotten hurt from an open house, and I never want to see our agents on the headline of the 5 o'clock news. So open houses, it's great, but we also need to take a look in your footprint. Are open houses paying off? In some areas, people will get 10 or 20 potential buyers coming in. In other areas, they're lucky if they get 1 or 2. There's a difference. So we really need to analyze and make sure that if you're going to go for the bullseye, we understand what the criteria is to set that target, okay? Realtor safety is one, good, better, best is another, and does it work in your footprint? Because if it is rural and they've got to make 5 turns and a zig and a zag and a this and a that to get to the property and you don't have a place to put signage, good luck. And do you know that some of the stats are for every 10 that come to an open house, one out of 10 will potentially turn into a client for you. Agents, I giggle all the time. Agents assume that because somebody came to an open house, that meant they were a potential buyer, and they go for the jugular. No, they may just be a looky-loo. They may be a neighbor. 100 years ago, I had a friend that was going through interior design school. What was her homework? She was to go to 5 open houses and 3 or 4 model homes and critique the interior design. So I went with her. This was way before I ever went into real estate. But so again, if we did not tell them we were there to do homework, the agent would have assumed we were potential buyers. No, it is nothing more than a lead. It is not a potential client. So again, we're going to make sure that you understand the numbers, what it takes, and making sure that it meets your criteria as well. If you're wanting to build that out to generate 5 transactions, we need to do the numbers. You need to be able to do at least 50 open houses. Doing 1 a month ain't going to cut it. So again, y'all give me permission, blunt and honest. We talk about it in a deep dive, all right? Good, bad, and indifferent. But in some areas, it's nailing it. And by the way, little plug right here, it's spring, and if you are wanting to do open houses, do not go balloons because they can get expensive and they pop. Right now, the pinwheels, the little spinner wheels, are all available, Five Below, Hobby Lobby, I think probably Walmart, Target. I mean, everybody's carrying them. If you at some point are thinking you want to do open houses, go get them now while they're available, because they usually sell out quickly and then they're gone, because usually real estate agents are buying them as well. The reason you have them up is for color and movement. Balloons will pop. The pinwheels will stay, and you can use them over and over and over again. So there's your bonus. If open houses are on your radar, there you go. All right, the next thing down is social media. Now, this one is funny because I hear agents all the time, oh, I hate social media. I'm not on social media. And then I hear somebody else, well, everybody's on social media. No, they're not. Newsflash, everybody is not on social media, especially in this footprint. We're in the DMV area. There's a lot of people, for a lot of reasons, that are not on social media. Whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. And guess what? Coming soon, in a couple of weeks, I'm recording on my Thursday session, The Truth Behind Social Media. I got some fascinating numbers. I'm really excited about doing this class, so that is coming soon to a Thursday afternoon. Keep an eye out for it. Another component that you can put into play is home buyer seminars. Now, you can also do seller seminars. But first-time home buyer seminars are a phenomenal way to build out your business as well. Again, there's an art and a science to it. I did them for years in California. I have it mastered down. And that is, in fact, a good avenue if you are, in fact, wanting to work with first-time home buyers. Because guess what? They don't buy their dream house. They're going to buy what they can afford right now. Within 3 to 5 years, more than likely, they need to sell and buy something bigger. And then 10 years or so after that, they're ready to sell that one to buy their dream and trophy home. So you start them off in the beginning, and you've got repeat clients as you're moving forward. That's provided you're planning on staying in the business. Now, those can be done in person. Those can also be done on Zoom. You can alternate them, have some on Zoom, some live. We give you the absolute rock bottom do's and don'ts, best case scenario, worst case scenarios, and how to make them fly. There you go. So that is an option. Sellers as well. I know a couple of agents have started doing Senior seller workshops. They partner with an attorney that comes in to make sure that the homeowner does, in fact, have a will and a trust, the pros and cons of that. And then tips on downsizing, how to save the treasures and the memories, but get rid of the stuff. And she did a really funny book, No One Wants Your Crap. Yeah, I said that. That's the name of the little booklet, No One Wants Your Crap, what to do with it. So again, it's sharing some clever ideas of how to help somebody downsize. So again, that's a real factor. Now, relocation expert. Now, years ago, I'm gonna say that used to be okay, unless you literally know someone in HR in a big company, you can get your foot in the door. But what a lot of the bigger companies have done is they have hired a real estate agent to handle their relocation. They figured they could pay them well. They were making more than in the real estate world, and that's how a lot of companies now do it. Now, there's another component on here that I just realized didn't land on the list, and that is trade shows. Trade and vendor shows. Back in the day, my business partner and I did bridal bazaars. Made a hoop load of money. Bridal bazaars. I teach you in that class how to do a home and garden show, how to do an RV show, what is the strategy behind picking out the location of your booth based off what's available, what to hand out, what not to hand out, what the message needs to be. So again, that is an option as well. Now I will tell you, there's usually a hefty price tag up front for those, but a good show will typically allow you to have or purchase the entire list of everyone who had RSVP'd and had registered. You obviously will be talking to a small component of those people that come through, but to get the entire list, oftentimes, again, there's a small fee for it, or they'll include it in the price of having a booth. All right. So again, we've mastered that one. We've got the do's and don'ts, the what to do, what not to do, when to do it, how to do it, and the benefits that can come from it. So again, if that is an option for you, you may want to think about that. All right. So those are the additional components for picking your pillars. Now, moving on to page 5 of your handout. On any and all of these things, and we've mentioned this before, you're going to get sick of me saying it, is the common denominator for someone to move is when the home no longer meets their needs. So what we're going to ask is, at this point, your database will always be 1. And it's on your handout as well on page 4. If you had to right now tell me what are the second, the third, and the fourth option that you would say, okay, on my worst day, my hair is a mess, I broke a fingernail, I stubbed my toe, the dog pooped on the carpet, it's not a good day, what component could you get excited about working? That's where I want you to take a moment, refer back to that, either highlight it or transfer it onto this part on page 5. This is going to help us where we're going to build it out. Now, the beauty of this is we get to learn to change a flat tire. So let's say, for example, you decided that you wanted to do open houses, but you started doing them and found out that they really weren't being as effective in your footprint as other footprints. And you're not wanting to go into that other footprint. So if that's the case, you're getting a flat tire. Let's repair or replace the flat tire. Easy as can be. So think about having your 4 is always to help you go. All right. So I'm going to ask you to take just a brief moment right now, stop the recording, pause, and decide what are the other pillars that you want to put into place. And then come on back. Okay, we're back. All right, marketing 101 is the marketing message that will help give you some guidance on where to go. First off, for each category, I want you to think about what is the pain point that group has. Let's say it's senior move down. They love the house, but their knees, they're not liking those stairs much anymore. Or if it's a big yard, they're not liking mowing it anymore, or the shoveling of the snow, or the whatever. So think about, when you look at the component, what is their pain point? That is the hook. Then your marketing taglines will be developed to overcome that objection. Let's say we're talking about move down sellers. So you still love the house, but your knees are hating those stairs? I hear you. You have a cute picture of the staircase going up. So there's options. You can come in and share options with them. Yes, selling is one option, but it's not their only option. And here's what I used to always tell and say, is it an option? Yeah. Is it your only option? No. Is it your best option? That's for you to decide. My job is to be your advocate and your consultant, help you understand what your options are, and based off that, you get to make an informed, intelligent decision. So let's say they've got a big house, and that's a niche you're wanting to go into. I would make sure that I knew which companies locally in your footprint provide those chair lifts to go up the stairs, because that is an option. Somebody may be more apt to invest in that than to sell the house. It's an option. Is it their only option? No. Is it their best option? That's up to them. So you're identifying the problem, the pain point, and then you are identifying with a tagline what is an option to solve that problem. And that's how you determine a marketing message for a particular target. And yes, we've already done a lot of that. And if you need help, let me know, because I'm pretty good at it. All right. So now you have determined which of the 4 pillars you want to develop out. Now, I want to change direction just a teeny bit. On this one, I want to share with you the proper way in which to hand out a business card. Now, I know that y'all go, yeah, well, you just hand it to them. Well, no, not necessarily. So, bless you. So you've got someone's business card, and this one, I'm just gonna give a shameless plug. One of the things I teach in many of the classes is create a business card that says, I'm your go-to source for this area. And this particular agent, Denise, did just that. So when she goes to an HQ2U in West Virginia or Maryland or wherever, she will go and hand out her card, because she's the go-to source for the Fredericksburg, Stafford footprint area. Because if someone's in West Virginia or in Maryland and they have a client that needs to come this direction, she's already given her cards out to the other agents and is known as the go-to source. All right, so there's a little plug for this one. And her QR code's on the back that takes you to the website. So if you're gonna give someone a business card, you don't just hand it to them. And you never hand it to them upside down or sideways. In some cultures, that is an absolute disrespect. So you present it to them, facing them, and sometimes too, if you have your both little hands on it, you present it to them. It's the best way to do it. Now, when you go shopping, pay attention to who you give your credit card to, and then watch how they present it back to you. With respect, with gratitude, they will present it. They never just toss it on the counter and expect you to pick it up, because that is totally, shows disrespect on their side, that they're not honoring you as a customer. So business cards, credit cards, just pay attention. You're gonna learn a couple things. So you present your business card. Now, a fun thing to do is if you're gonna hand it over, hang on to one corner of it. As they go to take it, again, it's not a tug of war, but they can feel the tension on it. And then you stop and say, and we've got the wording right here, the reason I'm giving you my card is because someday or eventually, you or someone you know is gonna need some help with something real estate related. When that day comes, I'd love to be your go-to source. Now you can let it go. Obviously make sure they've got it, okay? So that is probably, without a doubt, the nicest and the best way to do it. I see people just kind of fling them over, hand them over, whatever. Yeah, no. All right, electronic business cards, pros and cons. Yes, you can get them. They're relatively inexpensive. It comes in like a little credit card. You download it, put all your information on there, and all you do is tap it on somebody else's phone, and it transfers your information off the card onto their phone. That's okay, but not everybody wants to do it that way. Certain age brackets, it's going to be more common. Other brackets, not so much. So again, you need to make sure that you've identified who your target audience is and how they want to work, not how you want to work. Okay, so there's a little tidbit on that. So let's go over now and talk about another technique is buying lunch, not leads, and it's a can we meet. In the handout I've given you, this is one time that I'm going to say this is a script that you need to memorize. It is not that difficult. It is on your handout on page 6. This comes from Joe Stump in the by referral only. I learned it when I was coaching with him, and once I started using it, it made all the difference in the world. So at the end of a coffee or a chit chat, it's recommended Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday is generally better. Mondays, first of the week, crazy. Friday, happy hour, they want to go drink. Saturday and Sunday, they're usually, again, depending on their life and what they've got going on, they may be booked solid over the weekend for getting stuff done. So the conversation, or I'm going to call this one a script because it really is. Now, for those that don't know, Joe Stump specialized in neurolinguistics. So he understood that certain words in a certain tone, in a certain pace, could make all the difference in the world. So this is why we've got some of the things highlighted on here for you to reference. So at the end of your visit with them, now again, if you tell them you just want to meet for 30 minutes, and they say cool, you set your alarm on your phone for 30 minutes. Because if it runs over, you want to let them know that you're obviously your phone just went off, your 30 minutes are up, you didn't want to keep them. If they have a few more minutes, that's great. But it keeps you from taking what you thought was going to be 30 minutes to turn it into a 2-hour, drag conversation. So at the end of the conversation, it was great to see you, great to, get caught up. The closing conversation would go, and I'm just going to read it right off here. You know that I am your go-to source for anything real estate related. You know is highlighted because that's an embedded command. You know my mission is to protect and maintain the value of your greatest asset, which is your home. Again, you know is an embedded command. It's going into their brain and acknowledging, yes, I know this. Then you call them by name, make sure they've reconnected with you. May I ask you a question? And they're going to say, of course. You say someday, or you can use the word eventually, someday or eventually, you or someone you know is going to need my help with something real estate related. When that day comes, are you comfortable introducing them to me? You didn't use the word refer. You just said, are you comfortable introducing them to me? That way I can interview and make sure I'm the right match for them and can help them with what they need. Non-threatening, non-going for the jugular. And at that point, they're going to say, why, of course, yes, whatever their response is going to be, it's going to be positive. Your quick response to that is looking them dead in the eye, is promise, and then you hush. You want that to sink in. So what is happening now is their brain is going, I know that you're my go-to source. I know that your mission is to help protect and maintain the value of a home. You ask a question that someday or eventually me or someone I know is going to need some help with something real estate related, and yes, I promised. That is going to replay in their brain about 10,000 times, because that's what our brains do. They replay stuff over and over and over again, the good and the bad. So once you get the response and you say promise, if they're good friends, you can do pinky swear, you can go bump, you can do high five, whatever if you want. But at that point, the conversation is done. Because that is the last thing you want them to have going through their brain, is I just made a promise to you. Because someday someone's going to need some help and I'm comfortable introducing you. That's what you want left replaying in their brain. thank them for their time, see you later, you're out. Now, the beauty of that is you follow it up. It can be an email, it can be a text message, it can be a handwritten note. Always handwritten notes are worth their stamp in gold, and I know stamps are getting expensive. But it was great to visit with you today, yada yada. We got the verbiage right there for you to reference to. So again, short, sweet, and to the point. All right, make sense? Say yes? All right, and again, the key words there are the embedded commands are highlighted for you on that thing. You follow it up with a handwritten note. Email is the second best option. Text message, it can get a little long, but a handwritten note will always carry more weight than anything else. You will go see them 6 months later and that handwritten note is still on their refrigerator. You go to the office and that handwritten note is still on the office board, okay? All right, so the next task we're gonna have, or suggest you do, and we've given you space on the worksheet, is to pause for a moment and write down 10 people that you can think of that you would like to meet, I'm gonna say generically, for coffee. It could be coffee, it could be tea, it could be smoothies, it could be, it doesn't have to be a gourmet meal, and you wanna be careful if it's happy hour. All right, so go ahead and stop, list the 10 people, and then come on back. I'll wait. Okay, so welcome back, and we're gonna move on. So now that you have the 10 people listed, write fast if you're here with us, all right? Write it down. We want to go to the next step and continue to ask that crazy little question, is when you came into the business, where did you think your business was gonna come from? It's not falling from the sky, because we know what happens when that house comes down, it lands on that witch. We all saw that movie. Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore. So again, we want to think about where your business is going to come from. Obviously, your database is always going to be one. That's the first thing you're going to be talking about. So think about a restaurant. There are more than 1 or 2 items on the menu. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. And remember, if somebody tells you no, it only means no, not right now. It doesn't mean no forever. If you've ever gone to a restaurant and the waiter came around and wanted to know if you wanted more coffee, if you wanted another drink, if you wanted a refill, and you said, no, thank you, I'm good, or just no, they didn't run off crying. It just meant no, not right now. Because they may come back around and you go, yeah, I would like a refill on this, thank you. Okay, so don't let the word no collapse you to the ground. All right, plan of attack. How do you break this down and how do you put it into action? So we're gonna start by breaking it down into bite-sized pieces. For the next 30 days, or if you get it done sooner, you will focus on your pillar number 1, which is your database. You will make sure you have it labeled A, B, C, D, transaction partners, service providers, other agents. For the next 30 days or whatever time until you've completed it, you will focus again. Why do racehorses wear blinders? To stay focused and not get sidetracked with all the sparkly stuff that's out here. I'm gonna get you guys all blinders. All right, so stay focused on building that database out. That we've already talked about in Jumpstart Session 3, the money that's sitting there that you're gonna let slide right through your fingers. Don't do it. Get it organized, get it up and working. Now, once that is done, now let's say you've already got it started and you've got it done in a week, perfect. That time frame is completed. Now we're going to start on to the next pillar. So for the next 30 days after that, or however long it takes you to do it, decide what is your second pillar, tire, leg, post, whatever you want to call it. You got 24 to choose from, remember. What is the second pillar that you want to put into place? At that time is when you will be focused on, with blinders on, a deep dive into all the other training sessions I've done on that topic. You will make sure that it is mastered. You have whatever printouts need to go, whatever handouts need to go. If it's for sale by owner, you've got all those printed out. Again, you're locked and loaded. You're ready. Okay? Then you start the action on that pillar. The next 30 days, you will focus on pillar number 3. Whatever it is that intrigues you. You will then stay focused on that. You will get all the training that you can on that specific topic. Get the paperwork, the handout, whatever you need. Have it ready, prepped, locked and loaded, and ready to go. Make sense? I'm seeing some heads nod, okay? Then, after that, and again, if you have it done in 2 weeks and will clear it with me, I'll give you permission to go on to the next. So it could be done a lot faster. But after the 3rd pillar is in place, if you're going to add a 4th pillar, it is then and only then that you start working on that. If you try now to start doing it all at the same time, you're going to be all over the place. Don't do it. Break it down one at a time. Put your blinders on and stay focused on it. I've even given you on the bottom of page 7 of your handout a quick little worksheet to start breaking it down to help. So there you go. All right. Also in planning and tracking, so pillar 1 is your database. Where are you at currently? Where do you want to be and build it out to in a couple of months? What's your goal for 6 months down the road? What's your goal for a year? And make sure that that is part of your strategic planning and building it out. And oh wait, look on page 8, oops, wrong number. Page 8 of your handout, there is a tracking. Where are you currently, but where do you want to be in 6 months? Plan it out, track it out. In the handout is also the little worksheet that you can use as your guide, okay? How are you going to identify them? Well, they're in my phone, they're on my Christmas card list, they're in my Rolodex, they're in my phone book, believe it or not, people still have those. They're on my social media. Again, you're going to identify where you're going to get the contacts to go into your database. Where will I get their information? I have it here, I have it there, I have it nowhere, I have it here. Then you will stop and think about what is the message that you're going to send to them. And again, when you get more specific and for the bullseye, you'll be sending a better message to the right target. When will that go out? We've already discussed the recommendation is newsletter the 1st of the month and some other touch point in the middle of the month. Make sense? Good, I'm getting yeses, all right? You need to be able to at least identify what is it going to go out, who's going to get it, when are they going to get it, how are they going to get it, is it by email, is it by a text message, is it by a phone message, what is the call to action? Now, I'm going to take a moment here. I'm not sure if I got my slides caught up or not. There we go. Call to action. Please do not say, call me now. Because that's stupid right next to the, so you're ready to buy or sell. Or who do you know that's thinking about buying or selling? Call me now no longer has the impact that it did 20, 30, 40 years ago. Everybody has a cell phone. Now, you will potentially get some drunk calling you at 2 o'clock in the morning saying, I just got home and got your postcard. It said call me now. I know it's 2 o'clock in the morning, but your postcard said call me now. Don't laugh, somebody's done it. That poor agent got a call at 2 o'clock in the morning thinking it was a family emergency and answered it was some drunk that had just got home, got the postcard and said, it says call me now. So they did. Can't make this stuff up. I'm just saying. All right. So the call me now, again, is probably the worst one you can do. The safer and best place is to direct them to go to your website for where information is available 24/7. Now, this goes back to the early pieces of the puzzle where you're going to get your website built with tabs and handouts and things correctly. We're here to help. Because remember, this old gal can figure it out. I can help you do yours. But it's then going to give them a safe place to go to. They're not stupid. They know they can call you when they're ready to talk to you. They are not typically ready to talk to you. They just want to get more information. You want to give them a safe place that they can go at whatever hour to go get that information. All right? So once you've got that established and in place, then you can go on to your next pillar, your next pillar, and your next pillar. Build them out. Now, let me go ahead and recap, and then I'm going to give you a strategy of how to build it out. So decide on your target. That's step one. How are you going to identify them? Where can you get their information? What message needs to go to them based off the pain point? When will they get the information? How will they get the information? Is it going to be by mail, text, email, whatever? And certainly last but not least, your call to action, and your call to action should not be call me now, okay? Focus on your first pillar for the next few days, or next 30 days. From there, you're gonna build out 2, 3, and 4. Now, before your head explodes, let's talk about 2 ways in which to really map this out. One way that you can do it is on your calendar, whether it's digital or in paper, and I'm going to say 7:30 to 8 o'clock time block. I would run a highlighter across, and I would put database. That reminded me that that week, my focus was on my database. Did I get contact information if I was missing something? Did I get my newsletter out first week of the month? Did I prep birthday cards or anniversary cards because I knew when they were? And then what I would do is I would have them prepped and all hand addressed, return label, and where the stamp went, I'd put the date that I wanted to mail it. I had a crystal napkin holder, which I still have, and I had it on my desk, and for the month ahead, those would be right in there. So all I had to do was look at the date, pull it, stamp it, and out it went, because they were already prepped and ready. The first week of the month, I also made sure that I was focusing on annual reviews or CMA snapshots, whatever it was, whatever it is that you want to do for your database, you just focused on that for at least 1 hour a week or a day during that first week. You may get them done earlier, but that was your blinders on, staying focused. Second week of the month, I'd have a different color highlighter go across, and the second pillar, mine was first-time homebuyer workshops. So I would focus the second week of the month to make sure that my focus was on getting everything prepped and ready for my homebuyer workshops, for following up, for adding new to my invitation list. So I was staying focused. Third week of the month, I would do the same thing. A different color highlighter would go across that morning time slot with Bridal Bazaar. That reminded me that that week was my focus to make sure that I was doing the follow-up, the reaching out, the prepping, the whatever else needed to be done, easy breezy. Fourth week of the month, if I had the fourth pillar, that was on there as well. I did a lot of probate and working with attorneys, so it was probate and divorces with my attorneys. So if I was going to reach out to a new attorney and try to build that reciprocal referral relationship, that was my focus for that week. I made sure that it was visual on my calendar because I'm visual. I needed to see it. Your brain is for processing, not for storage. Your date book is for storage. Don't try to remember it all because you're going to totally lose your sanity. Now, if you say, okay, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, your 4 pillars, my brain doesn't work that way, and you want to switch it, here's the other option B. Every Monday could be your database. I'm going to set aside 1 hour or an hour and a half or 2 hours, whatever it is, on Mondays after I get off the 10:30 boost call with Lynn. I'm going to set from 11 to 12 or 11 to 12:30 to focus on my database. Do I need to add anybody in there? Do I still have business cards from events that I went to? Do I need to add those in? Do I need to reach out to a service provider or a transaction partner? So Monday is where your focus is, and then whatever else needs needs to get done. After you get your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and your focused marketing done, then you're good. Tuesday, if your brain thinks that way, Tuesday would be your second pillar. So let's say, for example, you want to do for sale by owners. So every Tuesday, you would take at least an hour to work on the marketing department, the marketing pillar of your for sale by owners. You'd make sure you have your little handouts prepped. You would look to see who just listed, who you can go see on Wednesday or Thursday, and just map everything out. You've got it all done. You've got it all in place. You've stayed focused. You've stayed laser focused on the bullseye, not the target. Once you've completed, got it done, your brain is clear, you're good. Wednesday would be your third pillar. Thursday would be your fourth pillar. So again, it does not matter to me if it's done the Monday, the Tuesday, the Wednesday, the Thursday. It could be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't care. It could be week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. But the art of writing it down and having it color-coded on your calendar is what's going to keep your sanity. Because if not, your little brain is going to turn into a pinball game. Remember you pull that little lever back and the ball goes all over the place? Yeah. Your brain is going to be like that, and by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, your brain is done. Not a good place to be. So break it down, organize it, prioritize it, and then know what you need to do on the time blocks that you have set aside for that particular project or pillar. Make sense? I'm seeing some head nod. Okay, good. All right. So that is how you map it out. Once you've got everything mapped out and planned out and you eventually build out your other pillars, then it's just maintenance. It's just flat out maintenance. So one of the fun things I've added in here for you, just kind of give your brain a quick change, know your lingo. Every business has its own lingo, and real estate is no different. The biggest one is people always say, well, I got 4 leads. No, you got 4 inquiries. There's a difference. Know the difference in your lingo, have some fun with it, and there it is on page 12 for you. The difference between a prospect, a lead, a qualified buyer or seller, a qualified buyer or seller, prospect, a actual qualified buyer or seller, which means you've actually met with them, an actual client, a transaction partner or service provider. There you go. You got it all together now. Now, the next thing is obviously our Samson toolbox. Holy moly. We got stuff, and we got more stuff. And again, when you are doing your Monday boost with me, and you're checking in, and we're going to take a look at what's on the calendar for the week. Is it a week of sales meetings? Currently, sales meetings are the 3rd Wednesday of every month. When are the mastermind sessions? Have you attended one? They're done by Zoom. Shoes are optional, remember? Dave does a great job. If you've never logged in and sat in on one of the mastermind sessions, you do need to have your camera on, which is why in Jumpstart Session 1, we make sure that you know how to log into Zoom and how to monitor the camera, because I don't need to know what color underwear you're wearing, I'm just saying. But have it on your calendar as well. Look and see when the next one's coming up based off the price point that you're in. Sit in on one. Check it out. Tuesday Tidbits. Are you reading the Tuesday Tidbits? They're about a 10-minute or less read. They come from Sarah every Tuesday. They're usually darn good. All right, do you have on your calendar the 2 Zoom sessions I do on Thursdays? 1 o'clock is Business Skill Builders. 2:30 is Marketing Mastery. Remember those 24 options? I take one topic every week. They are different every week. And we take a deep down, dirty dive into them. What works, what doesn't, what's going to cost, how long you need to take to build it out, et cetera, et cetera. The other thing we have in the toolbox is the cardinal contract trends. Now that you're wrapping up your Jumpstart Session 4 on the learning trails, The contract trends and market stats is the next class that we're going to ask you to take. It's only about 20, 25 minutes. But I tell you where these are coming in from, make sure you're getting them, what to do if you're not, and then how to, based off your footprint, find one talking point from the contract trends and one talking point from the market stats on the weekend update that you can use in your footprint. So if somebody says, so how's the market? What's happening? You don't have to look at them and go, I don't know, I don't pay attention. If you, trust me, I've seen agents do that. Your credibility just went down the drain. But if you can say, interesting, you should ask, because I've been tracking the market stats. They don't need to know we're doing it for you and handing it to you. But you are tracking the market stats. Here's what you're seeing. Yeah, there's an increase in showings. Yes, there's an increase in listings. Yes, this is happening, or yes, this is, all you need is one or two little talking points in your footprint. There you go. And the contract trends, holy smokes, those come in from Cardinal Title. If you're not getting those, okay, I have a whole, your next class you take is on contract trends. What are the takeaway talking points of those? Especially if you've got a buyer or seller coming up. I give it right to you, what exactly you can say. Weekend updates. Are you watching the weekend updates that Donnie does? He doesn't do them for his own wiggle and a giggle. They're for you, our agents. And they're usually 10, 15 minutes. If you listen to the front part where they're talking about the market trends, if you don't want to hear who the top agents are or the top teams are, when you're listening to it on replay, there's a little button. It's called fast forward. Bzzz, cut past it. Don't tell them I said that. I guess we're going to listen anyway. All right? Then go to what is the highlight of what is coming up next week on the calendar. Gang, there is one of us and a couple thousand of you. And I am amazed at how oblivious many of the agents are and not knowing what's going on and what's available. And yes, we can track numbers and see if we send an email out, how many actually get opened. And sometimes it's shocking. And you're in business and you're wanting people to trust you with the biggest financial purchase of their life, and you think you don't need to pay attention to what's going on in the company or in the market or in the, I don't get it. Somebody wants to explain it to me, I'm open. All right? Coffee with Casey. Oh my God. Have you listened to a Coffee with Casey? Have you attended one? That's even better. He has always got words of wisdom. Now, sometimes I hear agents say, well, that's not my price point or that's not my footprint, and he's like way up here and I'm way down here. You still listen to it with pencil and paper in hand. If something he says that you go, ooh, I like that wording, I like that sentence, you go back, you replay it, and you write it down. Incorporate it into your conversations and your presentations. It's one little thing at a time. Remember I shared with you, Casey said at a sales meeting 3 years ago, part of our job as an agent was to do a better job at educating the consumer on how the business of real estate worked. That was a game changer. That was a drop the mic, I'm going home. And that has been a great talking point. And yes, I heard it live, but I went back and listened on replay because I wanted to make sure I got it correctly and wrote it down. When you write it down, it embeds in your brain. So if you've not attended and listened to a Coffee with Casey, throw that on your radar. Check it out. Granted, it may not be your price point or your footprint, but trust me, he is going to share some wisdom with you that you're going to be able to grab and run with. One little thing can change everything. Okay, as we wind down, quick reminder, my website, lynnhamilton.samsonproperties.net. It is the same as yours, but you're not using my name. You're using your name, .samsonproperties.net. I actually laughed. I had can't make this stuff up, I swear. Okay, so did a class, I'm telling you to log in, okay? And I get a message from an agent that says, I tried to log in and it wouldn't let me. I said, okay, well, why? She goes, well, I put lhamilton@samsonproperties.net. And I said, That's mine. Not going to let you log in under my name. I'm just saying that. Oh, okay. I'm thinking, and this person's got a real estate license. That scares me to no end. But we had a good giggle and all was good. So my name is different from your name, but it's your first name, last name, .samsonproperties.net. Again, if your Bold Trails has gone to sleep, which means you haven't logged into it in 90 days, we can wake it up. You can either email the help desk, or you can email me, or you can email Will. Scary, they gave me the ability to unlock one. I thought I can either delete everybody or unlock one of the two, okay? But I can wake you back up just like that. In fact, if you're here today live, need me to check your account before we leave, I'm sticking around. So, but on my site, I want you to see what's on here for your ease of reference, because if I'm traveling, if I'm teaching, or if I'm sleeping, or all of the above at the same time, I'm not answering my emails right away. So I usually try to put an autoresponder on, but that is why I built this out. So it's available for you 24/7, even when I'm off the radar. I'm not holding you up. You're able to get to it easy and find it. Yes, eventually it'll all be mirrored over into Cardinal Nest, but this is a great backup because the ulterior motive, I want you to see, okay, so if she did this to her site, what in the world can I do to mine? And yes, we have a class coming up this week, I do believe, on Thursday, which will be recorded and put into Listen and Learn on how to, what things should go on your website. What are the top 5 or 10 things that you should update on your website and make sure are up? We're going to walk you through it. Because Will's taught me enough to even be more dangerous than I was before. So again, I got the basics. Will is our other amazing resource. All right, so knowing what's on my site lets you see what you can do to your site as well. And Learning Trails is there. Listen and Learn is there. If you think, I need to know how to do that, more than likely it is there. Or I've got it recorded and I just need to put it back up. So if there's something that you're missing, email me. If I've got it and it's not back up there, I'll send you the link and we'll get you going. And if I get requested by one, I know that means there's another 10 or 20 that need the same information. And I have no problem in recording a quick how-to and uploading it as soon as I can. All right, so again, this is for you, dual purpose. It's a quick reference, but it's also, ooh, what could I do to my site as well? So there you go. All right, often asked what's on my bookshelf, this one is a good one, is how to become the rainmaker. In this business or any sales and marketing, you need to be the rainmaker. You need to generate the leads and the possibilities coming in. That was a great book. We give you some of the talking points on it. But remember, what are you doing that's going to separate you from the crowd? The Uncola. I often tell agents to be the Uncola. Way back, yes, I looked it up. 1967, 7-Up relaunched their brand. The market was already saturated with cold, carbonated, caramel-colored beverages. Say that a couple times real fast. They did not need another one in the market. So when 7-Up wanted to relaunch, they hired a brilliant marketing company that did the most amazing job. It's still available on YouTube. Go look it up. They talked about being the Uncola. Similar, but different. Similar in that it was a cold, carbonated beverage, not caramel colored, the Uncola. I want you, our Samson agents, to become that Uncola. Be similar, but different. We want to have our agents so well prepared to be in the marketplace that if another agent finds out that they're doing a buyer or seller consultation in competition with a Samson agent, that other agent is just going to go, oh, shoot, or another word I think about saying, there's no way I can beat them out and have them not even show up. I want our agents to be cream of the crop out there, because I know you are. So be the Uncola. Think outside the box. If we're going to play tic-tac-toe, I'm going to win. because I'm going to think outside the box. Fortunately, that was a gift that I was given, to be creative and think outside the box. And it's also what I'm able to bring to you guys as well, because I realize everybody's not as crazy as I am. But when you're able to think outside the box, that's when you become the advocate, the consultant, and the PPS. You're going to make sure the job gets done. And if you need to think outside the box, we're going to think outside the box. As long as it's legal, ethical, and moral, you are good to go. So, be the Uncola. Think outside the box. Remember, I don't care what you know. I want to know what you're doing with what you know. Learning this stuff is no good until you start implementing it. And when you do, hang on and get prepared, because your business will run like a well-oiled machine. And you will be able to be proud of what you do, because remember, people are entrusting you with the biggest financial purchase of their life. Hear my heart, forgive my mouth. You do not have the right to screw it up. You do not have the right to fly by the seat of your pants. We're giving you everything you need. And now with the learning trails, it's making it even easier to go methodically, which is how our brains want to work, step by step. Become next step obsessed. Get something done, and then it's okay, what is my next step? And if you're lost, email me. But I'll tell you what, when you learn that, and you're able to relay that over to your clientele as well, at the end of a buyer and seller consultation, what is it I teach you to do? Our next step is this. Your next step is this. My next step is this. When you get that done, let me know and we'll go on to the next step. Because you want to keep your clients under control as well. Like, I don't want you running around like a pinball game. You don't want your clients bouncing around like a pinball game either. So by getting into the habit of being next step obsessed, it's going to make your life a whole lot easier, and it's going to help with your real estate transactions as well, because it is methodical. It is step by step. And most people, and again, I'm a certified disc instructor, which means I know too much. The D, the I, the S, and the C, personality styles, they all want to know there's a system in place. There's a process, you know the process, and you're going to take them on that journey from start to finish. You're not going to waste their time. You're not going to take advantage of them, because that's the D and the S and the C, their biggest fear, being taken advantage of or being bonged all over the place. When they understand that you have a system in place, you are golden. And that's what I want our Samson agents to be. So with that, there you have it. You have now completed Jumpstart 1, 2, 3, and 4. Hopefully you have done the tasks as they've needed to be done as you worked through this process. And with that, again, anytime, anywhere learning is available not only on my site, but will eventually be over into Samson University as well. And with that, we've put more pieces of the puzzle together. You've got your 4 pillars, you know how to recession-proof, you know where to get specialty information on all the other topics, and boom, there you have it. So with that, I'm going to say thank you. Are there any questions that we can answer before we wind this down? Are you like wowed?
Yeah.
Are you like speechless? Yay. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, thank you for taking the time to be with us today. It is always fun when we have, a live group to be able to work to, but this will be put up on Samson University, and I'll get the link on my site as well for the new Jumpstart for 2026. I always like to record it yearly to keep it fresh and current. We got snowed out a couple of weeks, so we had to push it down a little bit. But it is the foundation of your business. Whether you're a brand new agent, new to Samson, seasoned agent, make sure that you've listened to this with intent to make sure that you've gotten the pieces of the puzzle laid down, and then follow the learning trails so you know what comes next, what comes next, what comes next, what comes next. With that, my friends, go be wonderful, go be awesome, make me proud, and yes, I will take the blame for your success, because occasionally I do get blamed. It's like, okay, fine, you went from 3 million to 8 million, I'll take the blame. So with that, I'll see you around. See you in the next class.